So hey guys, we are back with part 2 of the Gangstalking Training Manual. It's been a while. This is Intercepts. Intercepts are where community-based agents, in brackets CBA, will appear just to coincidentally cross paths on foot with the target. Once the target has been sensitized to the point of realizing they are under surveillance and punishment, they will recognize and be made appropriately uncomfortable by the simple act of multiple CBAs just happening to cross paths with them. Your local control center will instruct you as to how you will be cued to perform an intercept. Often, you will have an on-site supervisor, in brackets OSS, position you and give you hand signals. Excuse me. Hand signals as to when to start your movement to intercept the target. Because targets moving about aren't always totally predictable, the success of CBA intercepts depends heavily on the electronic corps who have means of monitoring the exact whereabouts of every target, and through computer programs predict exactly when and where a target will be as they move about the community. Your local OSS has a special means of receiving instant, silent instructions for the center. 1. Let's go for this. Intercepting CBAs may be asked to perform one of the following forms of intercept. 2. Simple path crossing, requiring the target to take evasive action to avoid collision. Multiple CBAs sometimes perform this several times during a single outing by a target. On foot, walking for an extended period on the opposite side of the street from walking target. 3. Arriving at a place known to be a favorite of the target and simply occupying the space just as the target is about to arrive. In brackets, restaurants, parks, public facility seating, even bus seats are examples. End of brackets. Sometimes just hanging out in such a location at times and places where people don't ordinarily do that. 4. Smoking, coin jiggling, whistling, or toe tapping near the target at a location where the target is known to need to stand, as to wait for the bus or standing right behind a target at a water fountain. 5. A group, as many as a dozen CBAs, may be assigned to arrive at a store just ahead of the target and form a queue ahead of the target, spending time buying lottery tickets to delay the target. In brackets, the target is very tired and eager to get home after work, for example, or in a hurry. Kind of mind thinks these things up. An evil mind. 6. Community-based agents may be assigned to leave a next-door home or apartment exactly the same time as the target. I'm laughing because a lot of this stuff has happened to me. So 6. Community-based agents may be assigned to leave a next-door home or apartment exactly the same time as the target, repeatedly. Alternatively, a CBA may intercept the target a short way before home and arrive at exactly the same time as the target. A lot of thought goes into this, guys. And apparently, one of my viewers said I'm not slick. Don't watch. I'm not trying to be slick. I'm trying to give important information to people. Goodbye. While these may seem like trivial acts, keep in mind that the target will have these trivial things happen every single day, and repeated intercepts like these will force the target to always watch for such acts. So you'll always be on your toes, your nervous system will always be interrupted, you'll always be nervous looking around for these kinds of despicable acts. Essentially, ensuring the target never has a nice day. This is the goal, no shit. This is the goal, to ensure the target's punishment. Similar intercept operations are performed with vehicles. The center can schedule these every day the target commutes, and both to and from work. Vehicle intercepts are particularly effective when the target sees the same vehicle in an intercept convoy both in the morning and in the evening commute. Because vehicle intercepts can be dangerous, CBA assigned to vehicle intercept duty must successfully complete a special training course prior to actual assignment. Here are some examples of vehicle intercepts a community-based agent, CBA, I think you know that by now, don't you, can expect to be assigned. So let's see what these wankers do. Okay, here we go. Parking, so as to prevent a target's leaving a parking area and then disappearing. Parking commercial vehicles often near target's home with something unusual about these vehicles, such as there is no need for the trade. So just some random vehicle blocking you in, Or just unmarked white vans, white van man, to make the target think the van is there to conduct surveillance. So it's all got to be, playing on your mind, psychological warfare, etc. So here we go. Here's the next one. Simple following or leading or short distance, but every day. Doing this both during the target commutes and then other times makes the target very uncomfortable. Here's the next one. Passing as side street stop sign, then stopping an uncomfortable distance into oncoming traffic just as target is about to arrive at the side street, causing the target to have to slam on the brakes. In brackets, this requires control center assistance and prompting by walkie-talkie style cell phone. So this is the next one. For a CBA vehicle convoy, boxing in the target during a commute, forcing the target to travel at a lower speed than the target wants to travel. In some locations, the center will supply special license plates to CBA vehicles with short words which have special meaning to the target. So this is the next one. For a CBA convoy, and where the target is at a location where traffic is normally very sparse, cause heavy traffic, forcing the target to notice. The ultimate vehicle intercept is the staged accident. The ultimate vehicle intercept is the staged accident. This can be dangerous and is only assigned to very senior agents. However, it is possible to stage an accident so that only the target knows it is staged. This is an excellent means of punishment where a target has committed a serious offense. Not like any of this is an offense, of course. Normally, so-called targets are very innocent, decent people, actually. Specifically against secret services by revealing their criminality to the public. Now, does that make sense to you? Okay, so what they're saying is that the target is committing a serious offense by revealing their criminality to the public. Make it make sense. Generally, stage accidents are done in jurisdictions where police strongly support the operations so that the CBA driver is protected. We're going to move on to number 4, which is physical sabotage. It's very challenging to comprehend the kind of mindset that would go to all this effort to harm people, innocent people normally. Physical sabotage is an especially effective form of punishment when it is carefully limited to low-value items, below the value where police will take the report seriously. For example, burning a target's house down or even stealing an expensive appliance would bring official investigators into the picture. So that is not done. So sabotage, producing extreme safety hazards, is genuinely not suitable for operations because of the potential for bringing official investigators to an accident scene. So while damaging the brake system of a target's vehicle is not allowed for community-based agents, draining some of the oil, transmission fluid or radiator antifreeze is allowed. But not all of it. So do they actually sit down in a room and plan this? So you can drain some of the fluid or radiator antifreeze. That's allowed. But not all of it. Not all of it, mate. Not all of it, guys. Just drain a little bit. All right? The goal is to make it look as if the target is negligent in maintaining fluid levels and genuinely not causing a catastrophic failure that non-targets might see as sabotage. It is very important to apply punishment by way of a large number of small value sabotage acts because that makes it look like the target is forgetful, exaggerating, or in some cases even delusional, if they complain about many cases of small value damage. The target's associates will simply refuse to believe that anyone but the target is responsible. Sabotage is very important in that it lets the target know they are totally helpless to stop it and can't even complain about it effectively without appearing mentally ill. Now, who sounds mentally ill here? The organization is very fortunate in that some people, hearing about sabotage from a target, did the sabotage themselves to get attention. Sabotage is applied at the target's home, workplace, or on their vehicle. This requires the assistance of locksmiths, so everybody is involved in this shite. This requires the assistance of locksmiths and alarm technicians. Your local control center will supply this help and will bring specialists in from a distance in the case of rural areas. Here are some examples of sabotage a community-based agent may be assigned to carry out. Entering a vehicle or home and changing control and radio settings. Replacing window washer fluid with water, possibly destroying the system in winter. Scratching the paint on the target's vehicle, scratching furniture and valuables. Tire sabotage, from removing some air right up to slashing a sidewall if authorized by the center. Simulating a break-in electric window heater strips. Cutting off the four-way flasher button. Removing substantial amounts of oil, transmission fluid or antifreeze, but not enough to cause catastrophic failure. Moving things around inside the vehicle to show the target someone got in. unlocking the vehicle and leaving it unlocked, possibly even with the door open. Small cuts to the car's upholstery. Unlocking the target's front or back door and leaving it ajar while the target is away, even at midnight or at the New Year hour. Let's move down a bit. Just going to scroll down a little bit here. Moving furniture or carpets around fairly frequently to show the target someone has been there, although it might leave something subtle in your home. Yes, like a bit of material on your chair or something like that, just to let you know that somebody's been in your home. Let's move down. Stealing low-value items, especially items like scissors, which can be easily replaced. Keeping them until the target replaces them, then return the missing item, often in a place where the target checked, so that you feel like you're going super crazy. Stealing, or you're losing your memory or something like that. Stealing important papers, especially those which will cost money to replace. Stealing irreplaceable photographs. How kind. Stealing irreplaceable photographs, like of your family or your father, your grandfather, or, stuff like that. Who comes up with this stuff? Let's move on. While target is at work, remove mail from their box and toss it around, repeatedly making wall pictures crooked. You could actually be doing something constructive in society, couldn't you, rather than wasting your time doing this to other people, right? Setting clocks to the wrong time. Repeatedly dumping consumable supplies, in brackets, example, coffee, to make the target think they are no longer capable of managing their supplies well. Starting small rips in new clothing, which are widened on repeated visits. Get a camera. So basically they're planning to break in and rip your clothes. Get a camera. Ripping crutches out of the target's underwear. So they're perverts too. Ripping crutches out of the target's underwear or stealing finest underwear, swimsuits, etc. And God knows what they're going to do with that, ladies. Replacing clothing with similar items which are too small for the target, like for children, which the target does not have. So in other words, you haven't got any kids, but they're going to replace like your clothing to fit children. So let's move on. Ironing inside button flags over, making buttoning the shirt or top difficult. Carefully working the tip of a knife through seams in any air mattress or cushion the target may own, including replacements on a daily basis. Breaking zippers in clothes and bags, perhaps by pulling out a tooth or two. Shoving a knife through the soles of waterproof boots. At work, removing screws from the target's office chair. Does this remind you of when you're in school and, you got those bullies, the little bullies that do things like this, they remove something from your chair so that the child can fall over. Same thing. A bunch of school bullies, children in adult bodies. But they are truly in powerful places, and that is quite scary, isn't it? That they don't really have anything better to do. Okay, back to this phrase here now. At work, removing screws from the target's office chair or at home dinner table, leaving only one screw of 4 left to tilt the table with china. At work, damaging or destroying, in brackets, if not extremely obvious, a target's work from a previous day. For example, the computer is broken again, possibly worse. At work, Replacing current copies of computer files with an older copy, particularly serious if target is a computer programmer. At work, where some employees are or can be recruited to be community-based agents, set up mistaken deliveries of heavy goods which block the target's office. So basically, they can recruit people in your workplace as community-based agents to set you up as well. So at work, if the target is responsible for part of the operation which can be sabotaged, do so repeatedly just as the target starts eating lunch or is about to leave for home. At work, where the target is responsible for materials that can't be locked up, sabotage, or with special permission from the control center, steal the material. So the last paragraph of this is, thefts have to be carefully considered and authorized, basically stealing, authorized by your local center. Unless you have authorization, do not steal. Just mess up somebody's life, but don't steal. Just completely destroy somebody's life, but guys, don't steal. One particularly effective type of theft is to remove small value but often used items from the target's premises. Once the target has been observed purchasing a replacement, the item is returned. This not only causes the target to spend money uselessly, it also imposes a feeling of total helplessness on the target. Until next time, Empowered Lioness, signing off.